Well, hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tara Kinden, the Celestial Manifester, and today I want to take you on the journey of this new moon in Capricorn, what it holds for us, what's in store, and how it's really moving, the next iteration of us forward. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful to have you here. And if you've been here before, you know my routine. So I like to share with you, the lens in which I see the astrology through, as well as the human design, and then interplay the two. I like to think of the astrology as kind of the foundation or the framework of like your house. It's the structure. So when you took your first breath, this is a snapshot of where the planets were at that time. And then this is the energy we're going to be experiencing. Your human design is like the next level and the next layer. It's the way the walls are. How do we paint the house? What's our style? How does the energy flow through the house? And you have more flexibility with that energy than you do the foundation, if you know what I mean. So I like to bring in the next level layer, which is that human design, to sort of show you this is how you might embody this energy. This is where it might show up for you energetically, because energy is everything and everything is energy, as you all already know. But this is how it shows up and where it could potentially be showing up for you. So let's dive in. I'm going to share with you the astrology first, so you can kind of get the lay of the land. Now, I've pulled this for where I'm at. So it's NST time, 6:47 a.m. If you're in Eastern Standard Time, this will happen at 5:17 a.m. And everybody else, you're just going to have to figure that one out because, time zones are a real pain in the keister. So we look at this beautiful chart. We've got a lot of energy in Capricorn, brand new beginnings, okay? A lot of beautiful energy. And if you notice, there's a lot of energy happening at 0 and 1 degree. So we have Goddess Hygeia conjunct the sun, conjunct the moon, and all at 1 degree. We also have Ceres at 1 degree up here in Libra. Then we have Jupiter at 0 degrees, 15 minutes. So close enough to 1 degree that it's like there's a big shift, a big change, something new breaking through, coming through. And it's funny because it's like all the pack is behind Saturn. So the boss leading the charge here. I also just want to mention too that this is the very last new moon that we will get for 2022. So it's kind of this like finale blessing, like carry on into the next year with this final blessing from me. And that Jupiter moving into Aries is saying to us, it is time. It is time for us to move forward. And if you're in my DFF, you understand I've been talking a lot for the last few weeks, many weeks actually, about this divine feminine sort of renovation, remodel that's been happening. Okay. And now we still have Venus and Mercury close enough to conjunction here, but also connecting with Pluto. So, and it happens to be in the second house here. So look to see like, where is all this Capricorn energy happening for you in your chart? How is this going to play out? So when we look to the houses, which are these guys here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. It's like the first house. Well, this is the I am. So like the I am part of you is getting a full-on makeover in identity. How do I feel about myself? Plus conjunct with this Hygeia says, what's the preventative health and wellness like we need to take seriously? We need to do something about. We need to finally look at this. Maybe you've been avoiding looking at it, but it's like it's here for you. And how is that here for this chart? Well, it's showing up in the first house. So this is about the self, the I am. So am I healthy? Am I really taking care of my wellness? Do I need to look at something differently around my personal wellness and how I'm showing up, how I'm meant to shine my beautiful light? Like maybe there's a renovation that needs to happen here. And included with that is the emotional set point. The moon is our emotional set point. She is really the house of, how we love ourselves or how we feel into our emotions. Is like your number one way to get a sense of where you're at when you feel. But as society, we've been so programmed to not feel all the feels, because when you feel all the feels, you become vulnerable and exposed. But like, if your feelings are your guidance system, especially if you're a human design person who has an emotional authority, like that is your everything. The moon is your everything. Reflectors, the moon is your everything. Like so many people are guided by the moon, and you see how many people are affected by the moon, especially full moons tend to bring out that full illumination of lunacy. So really being aware of where is the moon? How is it transiting for me? How is it affecting me? How do I feel? And in this, it's like, how do I feel around the way I'm showing up and how I'm taking better care of my health and wellness preventatively? So you're not dealing with things that you don't want to deal with later. Then we look to Venus here and Mercury conjunct. What is the story? So it happens to be in the second house for this, but like it could potentially be for this person of this chart. You know, how is it? How am I showing up in my money, my value, my worth? And that's all Venus, you know, that's Venus's domain, period. But this being in Capricorn, like, let's get serious about, like, we've been working on this big vision. All this Sag time has created this excitement, this expanded vision. And now it's like, let's put some legs on those dreams. Let's actually decide how we're going to move this thing forward. Whether it moves forward or not is a whole other story, because we're working sort of against the action of Mercury or Mars retrograde. It's kind of like he's, you know, he's very slow, he's very irritated, and he's giving us a little bit of trouble trying to move the things forward. So we're in the understanding, like, we've had this big awakening within ourselves. We've been expanding, we've been growing, we've been doing the things, thinking about the vision, knowing, you know, that we're having a 12-year come to a close, and now we're starting a whole fresh 12-year cycle with Jupiter. But with this, it's like, what's the story we're now telling about the way we want to show up in our femininity, the way we want to show up and communicate with the world about our self-worth, our self-value? Like, are we going to own it is the question. And I really believe, you know, that solstice really helped catalyze this push forward into the new year. That was kind of like, and it's only a couple of days ago, right? But it's saying to us, hey, are you ready for this new start? What do you desire in this new start? And do you want to be in your power while we do it? So personal power is also this thing that comes up quite often, where there's a misunderstanding about what it looks like to be in your power. To me, it's like, when you're in your power, you make decisions based on your own internal authority, not what's fluttering around outside, not what other people think about you, but what do you think about you? What do you feel about you? And this is like so in keeping with that theme, that it's like, get real clear now. Who are you? Who do you serve? What do you do? And what do you bring to the table? And this isn't just about, you know, the story around, I need to have this kind of education before I can lead this work and do this thing and move this forward. It's like, you know enough already. This is that Mercury piece. Like, you're educated enough already through life experiences. And this is another thing I've been talking a lot about in my coaching behind the scenes, is that, like, you know enough already. You have more than enough intellect, experience, and, you know, education that's accumulated through all the courses and all the trainings you've been doing. But now it's like, how are you going to move it forward? Can you find that glimmer of, you know, brilliance within you that says, it's my time. It's just my time. So many of you are already feeling that. So it's like, can you give yourself the love enough to say, okay, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to do it scared shitless, but I'm going to do it anyways, because I can't put it off anymore. Right? That's this Pluto effect. The Pluto effect is sort of saying, yep, we're going down, we're going deep, we're going to do the thing, and we're going to see how it goes. But in Capricorn, it's like very serious. It's very grounded. It's very stable. It's Earth. So it's like we're building something tangible, and we may not see the results right away, because we've got this Mars retrograde and we have Mercury heading into a retrograde. So it may come to fruition in March, in April, what have you, but you're working on it now. You're setting the plan in motion. You're putting down the roots and the foundation. You're saying, this is how I'm going to try to do this. If I have to revise it and rework it, okay. You just know that going in, because that Mars retrograde is making us redo the things. Okay. So then we look to Saturn here in Aquarius, and he wants us to build this brand new authority, this brand new structure within us, to talk about it, to communicate with it, to share it, you know, to learn ways for us to be in better communication, better sharing, better, all of the things, right? And then we have Vesta, we have Juno. So Vesta is our heart fire. Juno is the goddess of marriage and relationship and partnership. And she is also here for us in Pisces with Neptune, you know, taking us into this little bit of creative dreamland around what this all could look like. We're just kind of floating, you know, in this space. And I'm honestly So glad we moved out of a lot of Pisces energy because it was really, really murky and heavy for me personally. I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but that's what I noticed. So with this new Jupiter in Aries, how does this feel for you now? Like, does it feel more exciting? Do you feel more inspired? Do you feel like, boom, I'm ready. I'm ready to go and get the thing started. And then, of course, we still have Chiron in Aries. We're learning how to, just how do we show up in ourselves? Like this is this permanent, until he moves out of here, but he's really getting us to think about it. Okay, well, who am I? How am I showing up? How can I show up differently? And then I'm not going to go into Eris and all the other ones, but just know North Node and the Uranus are still conjunct here, but they're conjunct in the happens to be in the fifth house. Where's your Taurus house? Because this is where things can happen really fast, really quickly, and move you towards, that next part of your life, that next path, the North Node, where you are going, where you are headed. Okay. And that taking action piece with this Mars has kind of got us stuck in a little bit of like, ooh, we're in reverse a little, but it's okay. It'll work out eventually. It's slow and steady. Then we've got Black Moon Lilith and Pallas Athena sharing the wisdom, still in this nurturing place, but they happen to be in the eighth house here. So look to see where is that for you in your chart. Where's their wisdom coming through? Where's their new understanding? Where have you been gone? You've had to go to the depths of yourself to really figure this energy out. And then we look to this series. This is the Earth Mother. She's wanting us to really build something tangible, build something solid. And she's actually squaring all of these planets here in Capricorn, the sun, the moon, and Hygeia. So she's kind of getting us to say, look, we got to get serious about who we are so that we can go and build this thing. You got to clean this up. We've got to look at this in a different way. Maybe we build the garden and take better care of ourselves, or whatever the thought process is, right? South Node is still clearing us out in Scorpio. So we're losing some things. We're losing some things to make way for the new things. And while that may feel really painful and awkward, it is always leading us towards the next best thing. And it can also be cleansing us and clearing us of the things that are just like, we're done with, but we haven't been able to let them go. And now we can, Heart of Fortune is here. It's just like, whoa, where's the blessings? Where are the beautiful like opportunities for us? Sag, vision, big vision. Okay. So now let me boogie over to our HD chart so I can kind of land this in for you as well. And the other thing I just wanted to mention was that we have, a lot of what we covered in the last video, which was the video on the solstice, is very similar here. But there are some elements that have changed and shifted. And it's kind of exciting to like see the shift and see where things moved a little bit too. Remember, I'm always like, can you see this yet? But you can't respond to me. So that's not that helpful. All right. So we see this chart. We've got a lot more openness. We have an open G, an open will, an open emotional solar plexus, open root, and open sacral, open root. So the energy that we're experiencing is actually splenic projector energy. And that is it's seeing where the people belong. It's seeing how we can put things into place, if that makes sense. And we're getting this director, like, we got it. I got this. Okay. And it's very quick and very intuitive. Being splenic, it's like, boom, I get this thing and I've got it right away. And here we go. And that's the wisdom to zest. Okay. But when I go down through here, I'm going to tell you like all of the planets and what it means for you. But just look with this head and Ajna completely colored in. It's like we're supercharged, we're super connected to super consciousness. So you're getting all of this insight, all of this wisdom, all of this knowingness, and all of this knowledge. But can you stay in the place of wonder? Can you stay in the place of, ooh, wouldn't it be nice if, and letting yourself expand in that without needing to do something with it right now? Okay. Here we may struggle with a little bit of like, oh, where am I going? What am I doing? But there is a lot of connections that are running off of here. So, and again, this plays with your own natal chart, but just if we were looking at this on its own, which is what we're doing, you're sort of seeing where this could show up, how this could show up, how you might experience this energy while it's flowing through you and to you on Friday. This open will center, it's like we just don't have the willpower. We may be like really amplifying the energy of those around us, and this could very easily burn us out because we don't have access to life force, workforce energy with the sacral. We don't have extended willpower, and we're feeling all of the feels from everyone around us, everything and everyone. So if you're feeling really sensitive and emotional, use that for something creative. If you're a writer, go write. If you're a dancer, go dance. If you know, find being in conversation with people helps to like stimulate that excitement within you, go do that. Like whatever you could chase that feels really good and creative and fun, do more of that. Okay. And then you have this open root, which is like you're sensing the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Oh, but you may also feel under pressure to get things done, especially if you have a big list going right now. So just notice, okay, I've got this pressure to get things done, but I have to understand I can't get it all done. So you have a list, but you know you're never going to get it all done. So you just do the things that are absolutely critical that you have to get done. And then you let it be what it is. That's how to work with this energy. So if we look up here to the sun is in gate 10. Y'all know gate 10 is the gate of self-love. How are you loving yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? And the moon has moved into gate 10. The moon was in gate 34, the gate of power, and now it's also shifted into self-love. So this is a definite pressure to be pressure awareness. Like if I am really going to shine in my light, which is that sun, I need to get myself really tuned in, checked in with the love I have for myself, the love I have for my potential, the love I have in myself for my ability to shine my light forward. Okay. Because some of you may be feeling like really shy around the holidays. Some of you may revert into something else around other people because you saying what you really want to say is inappropriate or too loud or too whatever. But like, there's this element of you that if you're feeling like you can't be yourself around the people, spend less time with the people if you can. Okay. And when you're grounded in compassion, so again, this is that self-compassion first. You cannot be compassionate towards other people until you give yourself the grace first. Give yourself the grace first here, then you can shine in that self-love. North Node is still in the gate of blessings, which is all about like really seeing this path you've been on and these, experiences that you've had that some have been a little bit crazy. What's the blessing in that experience? What have you learned from that experience and how have you grown from that experience? Okay, that's where we're going. So look back, and this is that whole Jupiter piece, like looking back and seeing how far have you come? How much has changed? Who are you compared to who you were 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You're very different. And at that 44 South Node, it's like you look back, you see these were the patterns. This is what was creating pain in my life. And I've had the ability to see it for what it is and break that pattern, break that cycle, to see the truth in what it was and to stop that going forward, which releases you from fear. It releases you from the fear of making the same mistake twice. You can't. You're not the same person you were yesterday. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. Like you can never make the same mistake twice because you're never making the same mistake with the same players. Do you know what I mean? The whole situation has changed. You've changed. The people have changed. It's all different. Okay. We've already talked about the moon. Let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is up here in the head. So remember, we're plugged into super consciousness, and Mercury is asking us, can we play in this space of wonder? Can we allow ourselves to access all of this juicy energy and then, swirl with it until it creates this beautiful lightning storm, this photon storm that then generates these feelings that, triggers us into like calibrating towards something completely different, something completely new. Okay. That's what Mercury is asking us. Can we play in the space of wonder? And then we have Venus, beautiful Venus here has now moved into the gate 54, which is where Mercury was. And this is the gate of divine inspiration. Okay. And with that divine inspiration, it's like, can we hold on to this idea? And remember, we're holding it here, holding on to it. We're allowing it to percolate. Remember, it's down here in the root. So it's like we get this, what am I going to do with this? Can you hold on to it? Can you nurture it? Can you love it until it feels like it's time to move it forward? And that's what this Venus is doing. Can we play in this space of wonder? And then can we come into that pulsing, sensing energy? How could I move this forward? What are the things I could set into place, set into motion, make the plan, make the path, and then move on it when the time is right? Okay. So Mars has now moved into the gate 16, which is the gate of zest. He was in 35, which is experience. So he was over here and now he's moved in over here. This is like zest for life. This is also that wisdom and being confident enough to share that wisdom with the world. This is a beautiful gate, expression, self-expression, using your words wisely, sharing your, enthusiasm with the world. Okay. Jupiter still in gate 25, which is the gate of spirit. And this is that connection to spirit. Are you connecting? Just try different ways to connect? I think I talked about 1,000 ways in the video of the solstice. So maybe go back and watch that one and get inspired. Saturn is in the catalyst. Remember, he's kind of leading the pack. So he's leading the pack forward and he's saying like, let's do this thing. Are you ready? He's clearing the deck. He's making the path. He's saying, okay, I'm getting everything ready for you. Are you ready to make this thing happen? We've got Uranus in the gate of allowing. Remember, he's just that rogue entrepreneur, shaking things up, moving things around, causing us to feel ungrounded, uncentered, and like, oh my God, where are we going next? But he's asking us here, do you trust that if you've got this big vision of what you want to do, how you're going to create the things, do you trust that you will be supported by the universe, God, source, spirit, Gus, whoever, that says, yes, I've got your back, no matter what. Even if you have no idea how it's going to work, you have no idea who's going to join you on the journey, do you trust that it could happen? That's the hardest piece. And that's why he's there, waking it up, getting us to look at it. Then we have Neptune over here in 36, exploration. Remember the gate of exploration, and it happens to be in a 1. So you're investigating this. That exploration is really exploring. What does it feel like for me to hold this emotional frequency? And just to remind you, when we talked about this plugging into the wonder, this is literally like how you manifest, friends. This is how you do it. You plug into super consciousness, you get super playing around with all the ideas of what could be. Then what happens is this like energy creates this photon storm, which is like the lightning storm in your brain, which then stimulates a feeling. The thought stimulates the feeling, then creates a frequency. The frequency calibrates through the heart center. The heart center is only able to attract. It doesn't repel, it attracts. So if you can hold this emotional frequency of excitement, of like pleasure, of bliss, of joy, of like, oh, wow, this could be so good. The longer you can hold that, the more you magnetize those kind of experiences, the right people, the right opportunities. It's just that simple. But what happens is most of us get glitched out here. Okay. So this energy from this emotional solar plexus that you're exploring, creating, creating a feeling around, moves to the center and goes, but are you worthy of it? Are you worth it? Can you do this? Like, who are you to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And whenever that happens, it just like completely cuts off the flow, glitches you out. And you're like, now you're calibrating something different. So when the feeling drops, drop the thought. Just drop the thought, move on, go something else. Come back to it when you get the thoughts again that create the good feelings. Do not try to manifest your dream life when you feel like you're not capable of doing it. Another way to work around this is to really have a conversation with yourself that says, yes, I know we just dropped this feeling there, but I'm working on recalibrating my energy to be able to bring it in. I may not feel totally worthy yet, but I'm working on it. And just see if you can hold the feeling again. If you can't, leave it, let it go. It'll come, it'll come, it'll come. Practice makes perfect. Okay. So then Pluto here is down here in the 60. This is the gate of conservation, 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 conservation. The ability to find the blessings in the transformation. Okay. So really allowing yourself to focus on what is actually working as opposed to what is not working. And this is that energy. It's like the same frequency of like, do I feel worthy of it? Do I feel capable of it? Like taking that energy and pulling it away, separating it from what you don't feel capable of and putting it more into what you do feel capable of. And that's where you put your energy. That's where you put your focus. People say, oh, change your thoughts. Or if you ever listen to Minnow Pond, like I love Minnow Pond. He's like, stop the stinking thinking. That's his thing. And Dominique will laugh about that. But she, it's true. So when you go into this like downward spiral of thought, it actually just frigs up your frequency, basically. And then you start attracting more of the stinky things, to keep it real simple. So that's the vibe. I know that was like real fast and furious, but I'm trying to master the getting this to be a lot faster for you. So you can kind of get the energy. And I think it is fun to share with you again, just the astrological wheel. So you can kind of now, you saw it in the body. Where does it show up in the chart? Okay. So if you remember, Venus and isn't the Venus and no, sorry. Moon and the sun are both in that self-love. Okay. Self-love, building the self-esteem, I'm loving myself enough to do the things I need to do to get into a preventative health mindset so that I can hit this year. Cause I've got a lot of things I want to accomplish. I've got a lot of things I want to get done and so on and so forth. So I think you've got enough from this to glean some insights, some information, but that's just going to help take you to where you want to go. Remember, this is all cardinal, like boom, energy, moving you forward, really starting a new cycle, starting a new path forward. And it's kind of exciting. It's like it's a cardinal T-square. But I'm not going to go into all that because there's a lot of astrology you can follow that will go into the depths of the depths. I just want to kind of like give you the basics so you can feel into it. How does this feel for me? Because we can say all kinds of things, and I can say all kinds of things about what it could be, but it's like, how does it feel for you? So how do you feel after listening to the winter solstice video? Did it spark something for you? Did it ignite something for you? Did you get into yourself and write, something that was meaningful to really honor that energy of going into the dark? Did you go out and look at the stars? Did it remind you of something? What was the energy like for you? How did you take it in? And for this, you're going to write your new moon intentions. So now you've got the energy and the lay of the land and the flow. And maybe you write something really specific to needing to give yourself more self-love, more opportunity, more energy to really like expand and get really into yourself, your frequency. I needed a quick drink of water and to get my cards and to bring you this book. So I wanted to show you this book. I love this book. This is The Power Wish. This is a really great book that tells you, how to really write out your wishes for the new moon and the full moon. It's a really beautiful book. So Kaiko is the author of that book, and it is a beautiful book. She's a Japanese astrologer, and it's fabulous. Okay, let's pull a couple cards for energy. And then if you stay around, I invite you to a couple of really cool things I have planned for January. And some really cool things that will help you become an energy ninja. All right. So here we go. Have fun. I love this card because this is the season, friends. This is the season to have fun, to let your hair down. Take off the pressure. Soulmates. Soulmates card. Do you see this is in twos? This is two cards that are in pairs. Maybe for those of you who are looking for love, maybe love is here. Oh my gosh. New perspective, two people. Okay, like seriously. Let's just okay, so we've got have fun, soulmates, new perspective. Now, like there's a lot of cards in here that are like one person. And I've pulled three cards that have two people. So maybe you're meeting someone new. Maybe you're meeting part of yourself that's new to you. So just ask for a clarification card on these because listen to guidance. I think you're meeting part of your higher self. So go have some fun. Go realize that you're connecting in with, soulmate energy, which can be like your highest self connection, having a new perspective about that and like tuning in and listening to the guidance that surrounds you constantly. So here's what's up, friends. Before I let you go, you can get into the DFF. So if you're really curious about the moon and Venus and how that energy is affecting you every single day of your life, how can you work better in relationships? How can you be better in relationships? But also how can you support yourself that much better? It is here for you. So you have till December 31st to get it at $11, and then it goes up to $33. The most exciting thing I want to introduce you to will be this. In January, I am launching relaunching, actually, it's funny, I'm revisiting the energy upgrade. It's a 5-day challenge that I do to really help you hone in on your energy. How do you recognize what energy vampires look like? How do you calibrate the frequency that I'm always talking about? How do you bring in that, higher level energy frequency to manifest more of what you're wanting. Like, how do I do this? And then how do I protect that beautiful energy once I get into the frequency and the vibes? How do I do it? So I'm going to do a 5-day challenge, and I'm going to put the link below for all the details so you can go and check it out. And then I also want to say this: when you buy the challenge, you get my masterclass for free on the big 7. So you hear a lot of people talk about the big 3 with your astrology, right? Your sun, moon, and rising. But I've created the big 7, and I am launching it in January. And you will get into that masterclass for free when you buy this energy upgrade 5-day challenge. So buckle your seatbelts, friends, because it's about to get real. And you know how much we've been talking about the energy of 2023 being, even more expansive than the 2020 energy, which is like, I don't know how this is going to come towards us. I just want you all to be as prepared as possible so that you're not thrown off center. And this is where I feel like the energy that we create, that we generate, that we manage, it's like the number one thing we can have control over. We have control over nothing else but our energy. So let me help you get your energy like on lock so you feel like you're moving into the new year, hot, 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 but you also feel like you have your personal power. And I do think 2023, for many of us, will be the year of really being in our personal power, really stepping on center stage, really being the person who we've always known we were capable of being, but it's like, now it's your time. So if you feel all those feels and you're like, hell yes, sign me up, go below and you'll see all the details. Again, I just want to sign off by saying thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate, your love, your energy, and your ability to just be here in the vibe. So thank you again so much. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it. And I will see you very soon, everyone. Take care.